It's going to be as close as it can get between Oxygen Esports and Moist Shopify to be kicking off Challengers Split 1. Absolutely amazing series, 13-11. Wyatt, I mean, of course, these two teams have tangled through this offseason. They've played up against each other so many times. It's so interesting to see that back and forth after a couple of months now to get prepared for Challengers.
When teams play each other so many times like these two have in a pretty short period of time, all things considered, or like 7 months, they played 5 VO3s against each other. There is a situation where the game develops. There's a meta singular to these two teams that can be created, which I think we saw in the map picks and bans, considering they essentially were just banning maps they lost to each other, picking maps that they beat each other on. But that being the case, Lotus was a map that Moist had beaten Oxygen on last time in overtime during the Ludwig Tarek Invitational, and this time Oxygen, they send the receipt. They get that win 13-11. It was well played.
I've got to say, like, you know, a lot of the talk was sort of around Otoshima and what he was able to provide. Vic also having some pretty key moments here for MXS. You can see like these post-plant setups here. Not a lot of like, you know, deep penetration onto that C side sometimes from MXS, but they're still able to have a successful go of it. The defensive protocols though are rock solid for Oxygen. It was very, very hard for MXS to get into a site early, to get information early, to be able to have like a comfortable post-plant setup, to scale into a site properly. They were always sort of fighting on the fringes here because, again, they couldn't. I mean, this is a great example. They get funneled here on towards the B site in one of those rounds. You know, MXS are very deliberate, but they're not able to get the information they need to make an informed decision about some of these sites that they're hitting. Overall, though, you know, the individual level from Redux looked excellent. He found a great way to get that operator involved in, you know, some really tight situations, especially that big kill on Brock on that B site defense.
I don't know about you two, but I'd like to accredit that second half, a good chunk of that comeback that Oxygen was going to be able to get to Redux, because going into that half, that was Oxygen in the lead, and Moist Shopify started stringing rounds together. They managed to get 5 in a row before all of a sudden Oxygen were able to stop that bleeding. And I think just playing so aggressive, especially with that operator coming out from Redux, was so well done. And just that back and forth between them, how Oxygen was able to kind of adjust after that, Wyatt. I mean, it looked like for a second that they're in a little bit of danger, but they stopped that bleeding.
That 16-8 first kill stat is pretty crazy, and it does come down to Redux, who you just mentioned. He had 10 first kills in that game. That is crazy.
Tamada's 3 and 6 first kill first.
You simply cannot ignore that there was a duelist diff in that game. Redux went crazy. 23 and 17, 10 first kills. That is pretty ridiculous. And I mean, an MVP performance for sure.
Yeah, a big difference maker. We saw Mata struggling a little bit at the start of the map on the defense side. Only a couple of frags, and then sort of picks up the operator and says, "All right, I'm going to A long here. I'm going to really just try and hold it down." But never really got a lot of opportunities. Like, there's nothing worse than having to lug a freaking operator to a post plant or to a retake every round, and like multiple rounds. Like, Mata has to go and do that. Try to find some value with it on, you know, when it comes to heading over to that C site for a defensive retake. It's really hard to get value out of it, but generally kept out of the game. And then some very interesting, like, aggressive raise plays over towards Seedong. It didn't really pan out as well. Hurt Mata at times a little bit. So MXS still making a very close game of it despite that. Winning both pistols, though, will do that for you.
I want to shoot Modest and Bale, though, for sure, because that 10 and 20 isn't reflective entirely of how he played. It's reflective of how the team was using him. And towards the end of that game, he was getting put in some really bad situations. There was that round where they tried to re-clear C Mound, and they sent in, I want to say, like, one piece of utility, had him satchel up top onto that little ledge, and was facing 2 players, and they had no info there because they were going for this late weird re-clear, and he dies. On the final round, he has to satchel into C alone while the rest of his team is dying, or the second last round. There were just some situations where he was really being hung out to dry because the game plan devolved. And when you're a Raze satcheling in alone into the world, and the rest of your team is cut off, and it's chaos, like, it's just, it's not entirely Mata's fault, you know.
Right. It's not being made much better because we're like trying to give Marta credit and then we're throwing his opposite number on screen with some really flattering stats.
We'll go back to giving Redux some credit here because, of course, I think it's safe to say big reason why Oxygen were able to keep alive in that series and stuff. And you're talking too about the fact that there was a couple incidents where Mata was left out on dry. Redux got to put himself in some of those positions sometimes and was able to thrive off of that, which I think was really excited to see coming from this young rookie, 16 years old, even just near the ending of that game, opting out near that mound and then double satchel to get back to safety Uber. I mean, he was playing incredible, and I think that's going to be huge for not just the series, but even going along this year as Oxygen have their sights set on like that tier 1, that higher opportunity.
Absolutely. You need a player like Redux, right? I think I mentioned it earlier in the game. He has zero self-preservation instinct. There's like an A hit, when they head over towards the site, and Redux has an operator, right? So he just double satchels with the shorty and still finds a free kill regardless. Eventually gets traded out, but he knows he's done his job. That's exactly sort of what you're looking for from this kind of player. And then there are rounds that they want to play it slower, and they are. Redux, like, they kill on Brook, over on that B side defensively. Like, Brook puts a turret down, he doesn't spot anything. And Brook still contacts the corner because he's not sure. And that's when he gets caught out. Redux has the presence of mind to hold the turret angle and wait for him to come out. This is like years of experience playing it out in like one of our youngest players here. So, I mean, the sky ain't the limit for this guy. And he's in a great spot to show off what he's capable of this year.
100%. And I think that's safe to say for a lot of the players overall in this series. I'm actually just really thrilled with how everyone's been stepping up here. But specifically, we have to be talking about Oxygen in that. Of course, that's just the first map in the series. And looking ahead, I mean, Wyatt, you kind of touched on it. The fact that we've seen these two teams be facing off quite a bit, we know what the history likes when we're looking at map 2 in series and split. And it definitely is Oxygen favored, though it's not 100%.
Oxygen have beaten Moist on this map, I want to say like 2 times in the offseason. They definitely beat them on this map at the Ludwig Tarek Invitational. It's one where they looked really strong. This is also a map where for Moist Shopify to get Mata's head back in the game, for me, this is a map where I've always seen him excel. Yeah. I think it's definitely one of his better in the pool. So if we could see a resurgence from him here to get, back to the top of the scoreboard, get some of that confidence going again, that would be really good. Very possible it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, Mata had a great game last time they played Split, right? But it was actually 2-5 in first kill, first death, despite having like a comfortable 24-17 kill line, whereas Redux was 10-1 in first kill, first death. So that's something I really like to keep an eye out for. Also, I think it illustrates maybe a difference in play style here, but Redux often is set up for success with those aggressive pops early on in these rounds. And on Split, if it's over B main, for example, or even out of mid, that can be very hard to deal with if you're going up against Redux. Something well worth keeping an eye on.
I'm excited with just how close that last series was. And with Mata not being able to have the same type of performance as Redux, if we can see the team set Mata up for success a little bit more this time around, how Split can be shaking up. But the agent select is ready, so I'm going to send you two off to be finding that one out.
Thank you very much, Sierra. Yeah, looking forward to jumping into this one now. Split again, a map with a bunch of data on 2 teams that have had their fair share of matches up against each other. This time, we'll actually have both teams bringing in that Astra. And that might have something to do with Thief no longer being on the roster for MXS. But either way, Flyer are going to be operating that one. We will have the Sky for both sides here. And of course, Verno, KJ never wants to leave the comfort of that agent on this map.
It's interesting to note so far that Oxygen haven't changed their comp on either map within the past 2 months, despite not the craziest, most earth-shaking meta shifts we've ever seen in the game. But the meta has certainly changed a little bit. But so it's interesting to see they've changed absolutely nothing. Not that there's anything wrong with either of these comps on Split. I mean, I suppose it's not one of the maps where there's been too much change anyhow, unless you want to try something new. These are essentially the standard agents you're going to see. I'm always partial to a nice Cypher here on Split. Just allows you to set up some really nice trap plays when you have either an Astra or a Breach with that raise, where you can set up a stun or a Gravwell off of a ping from the cam, off a trip going off. Yes. And then, you can trigger a raise nade off of that, something along those lines. So I'm a Cypher enjoyer personally on this map, but both compositions are extremely valid choices on you know, all agents here from top to bottom.
It's something we get from Loud a lot, right? That breach inclusion on this particular map. And Cummins in, of course, incredible player, really able to make it look good. But it illustrates also the value proposition of him set up with the Rays on that particular map. It will be MXS starting on defense here as Oxygen would love to close out the series and make a strong statement to kick off Challengers Week 1. And already standard A Viper wall for both sides, in fact. And that's where we'll be headed early.
Yeah, there's going to be a big clash here. You can certainly expect Mitch to send a flash up ramp for Redux, maybe dog through as well. They're actually going to take it slow. It's not going to be that explosive play that you'll see on many rounds after this, with the Sky Rays taking up ramp right here quickly.
Brook took damage. Okay, no. That was a bug. Like that on the... Yeah, he actually... Someone take a bit of a hit here. Standard Cypher cam set up. Redux trying to spam at the location, doesn't hit it. Now he'll find it easily enough with the Viper wall down.
Interesting little double setup in vents. Things are still oh so silent. Finally, one player spotted out because of that drop. The long bot. Oh, Molly nade combo. Look at this utility backside to set up Redux. And I like this patience, just waiting for his teammates, waiting for another flash to double swing. A player that we see get mentally aggressive all the time, but knows when to pump the brakes a little bit, allow his teammates to come in and trade that out, even if he went down. Really just nice, slow, good decision making.
Nothing Odorous could have done about that one. Far too much util leveled at him. It's a Monastra. Suck going down. Mitch controlling Heaven. Vic would love to try and regain this position here, but they're running out of time. Marta's already able to find Dappy here, so the util on the retake getting some results. In a 3 versus 3 Redux Challengers. He'd love a bit of Marta. But now it's going to be up to Scuba with only 13 points of health in the retake, despite MXS giving up Heaven entirely and losing Otoshima right at the start of that hit. Able to come back.
Those players from Oxygen just got so split apart. I mean, you could just see on the map there the little X's where they went down. It was just all over the place. Those players in Heaven were struggling, trying to get a foothold there when the retake came in. And those were just some nice, clean trades through Elba. I mean, when you're fighting in that position, it's always scary to be the first guy running in and you're just praying your teammate's going to get the trade for you while you're running through that tight little corridor. And Moist did a good job of that. A nice start on the defense. Great looks from Marta. Some big paint shell value. Now holding on to the judge. We posted up on me. There's Oxygen. Okay. Otoshima taking a fair bit of damage there with that shoulder pick. Able to avoid the flash, but there's Marta the pizza. It's hard.
One enemy remaining.
And as the poison orb dissipates, Marta is able to clean up Scuba comfortably. Verno. Last one up. Can't ask for a better round than that. Going to be able to save all of these weapons into the bonus, which I believe they were able to convert on that last map in the second half, which had them on a nice run. We'll see if they can do the same here. Whenever you have a judge on defense on split, you know, you're just sweating bullets as the attacking side. That is the scariest sight imagined. I'd rather fight any weapon in the game. I'd rather fight a Raze with an ult than a Raze with a judge on this map, I swear to God. 100%. That is absolutely filthy, and you don't know where Marta is going to turn up. More of a default setup here for Oxygen now with some of those guns to hand properly. And again, that attention mid will just be Otoshima receiving. Of course, that poison orb customarily will be set up here with the backup, of course, of the Astra smoke if needed. Just fighting for mid-controller Oxygen, trying to expend some of that utility from the Viper. Odorous, the new addition to the team.
There.
Gonna wait out these smokes. Boombot to re-clear. You can see the turret is just watching for anyone to pressure B main. No one has. Dapper on that line A. Just gonna take things nice and slow here. Again, just rotating the poison orb in with the star. A whole lot of value, but Otoshima gets caught. That's gonna sting. Now Dog to try and clear the smoke. And on the other side of it, Flyer spotted in Heaven. Redux and Verno now realizing they've got a whole map to play for here, maybe even take extra control, but instead, Oxygen entirely pull out of mid. To what degree does Flyer know that they've done this and not taken any presence in Heaven at all? This is methodical
30
from
seconds
Oxygen.
left.
They could have gone A with Dapper waiting over there, but they decided to go for this late B hit. He rejoins up with the team in main.
No trips.
All of the util going to be expended. Redux gets past the grab well. Oh, lovely first shot. And the satchel pass to be able to get an easy trade on Vic. Rada flying in quickly, picks up the Bulldog. Verno, nice
10
swing.
seconds left.
10 seconds.
Shut that down. They're going to get the spike down, no problem.
Spike
Brock in the clutch
planted.
is pretty good, but he's not winning this one.
I mean,
surely.
gonna have to be something special.
Surely.
No trips over on that B side for Vic, worth bearing in mind. So no time to adapt to that aggressive push out B main. It's so interesting, right? You take map control, you can't noise, you optionally give it up and then force all of your team to funnel in through B. Completely take Oxygen, MXS by surprise. Nice moves here for Oxygen, getting themselves now in a position to equalize.
Going to be the full buy from Moist Shopify. Light armors all around. And it looks like this might be the first round where we get a bit of that classic A take, a map control take, rather, from the Sky Raze comp here. As there we go, that flash up ramp, Satchel just behind it to take that space.
Yeah, you've got to respect the span through that wall. One Satchel charge used. Boombot now is going to be checking ropes here. Redux has all the information that they need, and Vic comes off second best in the spam trade in heaven. All trying to play safe here.
They've gotten info on 3 now, Oxygen. They heard bullets coming from 2 different places, and they saw the dog coming from sight. So they know there's a lot of presence here from Moist Shopify.
Scuba not pushing too far for info on the other extremity. Just holding for a potential push out of B main. And now we rotate to mid. Under a minute left in the round here. All of Oxygen, but they leave Verno behind ramp. Maybe a cam to contend with for Verno there, care of the Cypher, but again, they activate the Astra, then turn off Verno, have him sat there. Now here comes the ropes push.
I love this decision from Oxygen. Reclearing all of mid, left Verno to control that space on A.
They get it for free.
Now they're about to have an
30 seconds
explosive
left.
hit into the site. Cooling out of heaven, so much on Vic.
I'm going to clear here. Vic in a great spot to disrupt. Gets his one, but Mitch finds 2 from rafters and will have the drop down. Not only did Oxygen literally get heaven for free, it can explode now onto the A side and have some decent post-plant positions, but to what degree can they hold heaven? Dapper's not going to take too many risks in staking his claim to this part of the map. Somebody Scuba spotted. Spam comes out utterly unscathed. What are the odds? Still not a whole lot for MXS information-wise. Dapper opts to give heaven up entirely, but Flyer has not seen a damn thing. Verno's tucked here on the other side. More than happy to play.
Just too much time has been wasted anyhow. Maybe they get some kills here, but that's going to be it.
MXS, yeah, just completely forced off. And you have to wonder, right, like the decision to voluntarily just seed heaven here by the defenders. Must be regretting that one now. Vic ends up playing from below rafters, which is a hard angle to clear, right, Wyatt? But they have really no ability to retake that space.
Moist gave up so much of the map after that Oxygen fall off on A. They were really expecting that Oxygen, knowing that 3 Moist players were there, would rotate to B and go for that hit. But they left Verno ramp, love that decision, and then they just re-clear mid, walk all the way through for that hit. It was great macro decision making from Oxygen, and Moist were not expecting that re-hit at all. They really thought they were just going to go for the B play.
Anticipation of a fast A here for Oxygen as MXS gets some of these trips set up. Mitch again gets to clear heaven. It's lightly held once more, but there's a player embedded here in ropes, and Marta's able to find 2. What timing? Make it another, perhaps? No, the showstopper's going to go awry, but Marta's still able to find 3. And that'll cut Oxygen down to size. Still no spike plant. That's to hand for Mitch. They're going to salvage around now, but Vic has all the info.
That satchel to dodge the rocket. That's one of the coolest things you can do in Valorant. Whenever you see that, it's so pretty. And if they get the kill after, the shades of Nookie on that bind clip from a year ago or so, just one of the flashiest plays you can make.
And even I remember that.
Pretty mad on A. Those are some interesting trips to deny some satcheling raises, but
Yeah,
things have slowed down here. Oxygen, they have a lot of space they can work with, and Moist know they don't really need to do much here at all.
30 seconds left.
Hiroshima, also known as Ratatouille, sat at the bottom of mid here. This is easy pickings, the one and the spike going loose. Tells him all he needs to know. Scuba will be allowed a reprieve of sorts, planting under cover of smoke. But slowly, MXS will converge upon this position. Here with the concussion. Vulnerable, this Scuba. It's a matter of time before the carrion crows come.
That flash not going to ping him. It's really all about this player in B main. If he can get that kill, maybe he has a chance.
Brock had his back turned, but Otoshima is set up there. Love that sort of late round post up in mid, but again, it's the Marta play, right? Because the round prior, there's some conditioning here. MXS completely give up ropes. There's a boom bot thrown in there by Redux that forces them out, in fairness. They clear that and they just opt to give it up. This round, though, they keep the raise in there. They hold it down for 3. Beautiful stuff.
And that is the Marta that you want to see on this map. Starting off strong, 8-2-2. Split has always been a home ground for this guy. He's always just put up big numbers on Raze. And that's exactly what you need from your star player. You need the confidence to be coming back early here into this map after struggles on map 1. He went 10 for 20 in a 24-round game. Starting off really hot here, though.
Absolutely. Showstopper now for Redux to accompany that stinger. Through mid, the presence is there, but they contacted and Marta just says, I'll have 2. Thank you very much. How about a quick correction to make it 3? Inverno absolutely shattered.
1 enemy
Another
remaining.
3K here for Marta, albeit a different part of the map. Takes the wind out of Oxygen's sails. Can they survive on CO2? We're about to find out.
That's the kind of snappy aim that just puts a smile on my face. I love watching players that have that kind of like a mouse mechanics in specific. It's just my favorite. That was absolutely nasty. At this point, if you're Redux, you just want to try and save, but I mean it's going to be a long time. You're going to be staring at the clock for a while.
Why is it that Oxygen want to contact play up mid there, especially with their money sort of being what it is?
Go get him.
Previous rounds, Moist just haven't really done much there. They've been able to walk up and get a lot of that
30
space
seconds
for
left.
free. I think it's a case of testing their luck, you know, and feeling presence on other parts of the map too, of course, earlier on A. So they feel like they can have an opportunity to just go for a bit of a walk up, and I'm in. Listen, usually you're not going to get double collab headshotted
10
and
seconds
snapped
and then a
on
flick
for the
heady.
third.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just
that is picante.
ridiculous. We're just talking about him. We were saying on the desk before, this guy needs to have a strong start, get the confidence back. He was getting diffed by Redux on Lotus. And he has done more than just get his confidence back. He's got his team in the lead. He's winning them outright rounds.
11 and 2.
Nasty play. Nasty play. Oh my God. That third flick is just robotic.
Yeah, that correction warrants the body spray after the fact. I'd be extremely pleased about that, because I'm sure Marta sat there stewing in frustration about how that previous map was going. So here we have it. Obviously, that one hero rifle maintained for the prior round for Oxygen. Still sitting on a showstopper is Redux.
And he's got that hero Vandal as well.
This time, we have an orb. And it looks as if Oxygen, yeah, sneak Verno across there on the cover of Poison Orb. Converging upon A. Peek from Borg.
Try and walk in off this smoke down, but Vic has that angle from heaven. Getting smoked off just a bit late, drops in. Chaotic for Mitch.
Spike down A.
A bit of damage done, but nothing of significance. Moist are up 5-2, and this is a map that the last 2 times these teams met on it, Oxygen won both of them. This is a stronger start than they've had either time previous.
The best you can hope for in a round like that is Oxygen is to try and keep a lid on MXS's economy, if you can. 5 ults now. You've got to make a play, play happen here somewhere, and that's likely why we have that timeout for Oxygen. How do we put this together now and guarantee ourselves a round? We need to stop this. Vic here allowed to roam freely. There's no ramp pressure. They just straight up run through A here. So Vic really gets his pick of the litter when it comes to those kills. And still Marta continuing to go from strength to strength here. Yeah, Vic having a really good game as well. Sometimes setting up those trips so deep, expecting like a double satchel push in for Redux, but we haven't seen a lot of it. Most of that early attention's been towards Heaven, which of course is where Marta was able to shut them down those few rounds ago.
I've liked the round so far where Oxygen have been able to take a little bit of that early control, leave a player on A, try and work mid a little bit, get some of the utility out. That one round, they're able to just walk up entirely for free. When they've stacked up too many players early towards A and have put too much emphasis on that area of the map is where things have began to fall apart a little bit. But also the reason they're taking a timeout at this juncture is the fact that they have 5 ultimates. They're just discussing, hey, how do we lock up a free round right now with all of these ults?
Not only a free round, right, but a round in which they can keep as many of those guns to hand as possible. They need to mount a comeback here. Which fancies a bit of early info, gets very little. Look at this 4 stack for MXS on that A side. They are sat deep. And there's no Heaven, no ramp control for them whatsoever. And also this Viper Pit mid to try and funnel them in that direction. And the B side is held only by inanimate objects presently. All that util. And that stall for the Astra is set up here.
Yeah, we might be going for the classic Astra ult B hit where you cut the site in half, get in, put the Viper's Pit down after.
You are divided.
Certainly looking to be that exactly, and there is the wall. They only, I mean, they have nothing to deal with. Oh no, we got tripped, and no one can shoot them, who cares?
I've got your trail.
They're getting this spike down for the absolute freest. Actually, look at mid though. Mitch popped his ult in the pit to force these players back.
Could be good now. Again, that dog's going to re-clear Heaven into mid though, so MXS can rescale back into that part of the map here and at least have 2 lanes, 2 axes to pressure the B side from. But you're right, Doctor. Viper's Pit deployed here. Mitch passively holding this angle, and again, it's going to be Odashima asking the question, can I wrap around? Redux, big spam on him. Marta going to take him down eventually with the paint shells now. 3 left for Oxygen here in this post plant. They've got the Viper's Pit still to depend on, and they're going to try and double it up here. That is beautiful stuff. Scuba caught out. Dapper swings, so he's going to be able to trade that instantly now. A 2v4. Lockdown, about to hit. Can Dapper stop this? Brock can't get the defuse. They halved it though. Is it going to be enough? No, it isn't. Anything but a free round here for Oxygen, but it's a round all the same.
And it only took 14 ultimates, but we got there. I mean, they used 4 of them. Oh my god. Hey, listen. You got to get the round on the board, though. That's why you save up your little orbs, so you can get your ultimates and redeem your free Valorant round win voucher. They used all 4 of them on the B side. That is a wild ending to it. And frankly, I think things could have been a bit cleaner if one of those Oxygen players had gone for a mid-wrap at some point there. They were all playing B main, but they got the job done. Let's keep it moving.
I guess, yeah, Mitch got forced off of it by the dog re-clear from MXS, and then took a passive angle later on in the day. Very messy, of course, when there's a Viper's Pit involved. Good moments from Marta. Not enough to get them the round win, but hey, keeping pressure on that Oxygen money. Plenty to work with here for MXS. A lot of info gained by Trailblazers straight down mid. That's been left open. That's the conditioning that Oxygen tried to play into when Marta thrashed them as they contacted up there those rounds ago. Trip, now going to catch Redux, trying to make the best of it. Vic's going to catch him out. He still gets the trade across the map. Vic spewing about that one. Can't be pleased at all. And here's the transition towards Heaven. But this is going to be spotted out potentially. No, Lassie goes by them.
Getting that dog out in the mid round is nice. They're in this 1-2-1. Dapper puts up his wall to cross with his teammates.
Dangerous.
Well punished.
Scuba. Make sure, yep, screen smoked off. A site completely open. MXS. There's a lot to put together here. I'm going to be honest with you. Got Astro for the post situation. The money's not looking great for MXS. And I don't know to what degree they're really going to want a bar of this, Wyatt.
I mean, it looks like they have no desire to go for this. I suppose they could have tried something with the Astra wall, but the economy going to be more important than that, and you want to save that for a round that's, you know, more winnable, or will turn the tides, rather, not just like make a round that is absolutely gone to hell when they're like, maybe we can win. So they're going to go ahead and save onto that, which is fine. And again, this is the kind of round that I like from Oxygen, though, Mitch. This is what I was saying, that slow it down, control the extremities, get some space in mid, get some util out. They pressured towards B Heaven, which was nice. Then they reconvene with Dapper on A. This is what I like to see.
They made the right call about moving up into mid this time and weren't punished for it. Not the first time MXS have really just left that part of the map on its own. And again, bit of a pretty pivotal round here for Vic especially. And yeah, Moistek Shopify going to call a timeout. Scrabbling together what bite they can. And you see the tripwire catch, and Vic, oh man, does complete the kill, but not quite in time to shut that ultimate down. Yeah, nicely done, Rox, to make the great mid-round call to head to A.
By the way, I just want to be a nerd about something for a second. Did you see at the very end there, Mata's paint shells were falling onto that save spot? He went for the Doja grenade at the very end. I've never seen someone throw a paint shell from, I don't even know where he was, that lands in that little save spot. That was so cheeky. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I didn't do anything, but it would have been cool if it did.
Yeah, he's feeling himself a little bit. I'm going to be honest. Mata and Vic having a good time. We have numbers in front of us, so let's talk about them here. Roxton, really, many of these rounds have been a grind, right? Not a lot of flawless play. Really having to sort of push the limits on their economy. And that's why you see we have a patchwork of armor, especially for both these sides. Light armor on 5 players on the map right now. And Vic, I saw, looked like he was considering an outlaw here and thinks against it.
It's going to be a standard setup here from Moist Shopify. This has been their go-to, as really just is with this comp. You want to get that Viper's Orb down in mid, which it is, and then, you know, you leave your rays to apply that pressure in that area of the map. They have the cam set up for A. Check for any crosses. Brock watching that as well. And what? I mean, just pure spam through. They get 2. Was there shots fired back? I mean, there must have been one bullet. I mean, not one? I mean, surely there was one Vandal bullet that like alerted them to something. I
feel like Mata just sat there and watched his team get mowed down. Couldn't do a darn thing about it. I mean, look what the kills happened, right? They're not even sat out in mid. They are sat in vents. That is absurd. Oxygen now. An impish grin on every face, I'm sure. Will again make a slow, noiseless move to an extremity. Perhaps look to cancel that. Look at Flyer. He will hear if there's any running in sewers. There isn't. It's all walking. Look at this discipline. Oh!
30 seconds left.
A little bit of noise. I think he caught it, yeah, just at the very end, but too little, too late. They're going to get that B-side for free.
Oh,
and
what a call!
Bomb buddy out.
They're going to be back to saving.
That is mental. What a call. Heading straight to B, knowing they've drawn a lot of action over. The cancel late in the round. They don't give themselves that much time to spare, but there's nothing to mess them up. There's no player anchoring that site. There's no util. Fly going to go for it, though. Maybe just says it's time to party. 2, and that's it. We've got 2 players now from Heaven. Mata and Brook have to make their way through the poison orb now. Flash paint shell's going to force Dapper off the angle for the time being. Redux going to receive. Eat Smarter for breakfast, and it's all up to Brook, who's had a quiet map indeed. Has to go massive. Double face could be a problem. He's down to 3 now. Paint shells would end him if he doesn't step now into CT, and yeah, he's done. His goose is cooked, and he's headed for the hills.
Again, this round started with just 2 Moist Shopify players getting shot through smoke. And it devolves into the 5v3. Oxygen just take their time. They work the map. That's something that I've really liked from them generally so far on this split attack. Both, I'm seeing it from individual players and at the team in a moment like that, where they get an advantage, they know they're in a good position, they're not forcing things. They're slowing it down, playing properly, and it's why they're converting those advantages into round wins.
Started off as such a great run for MXS. I mean, that's...
Oh my God.
They do get an indication, right? There's definitely some spam going on. There's some tomfoolery.
Just a little bit.
Oh, man. These guns are kind of doo-doo. Dual theft to work with at the very least here for Vic. And again, we have a stack. There's 3 players to A right now, and we see MXS trying to get some early info towards ramp. They've even thrown a cam there, really investing in making sure they can head away from A with peace of mind.
Moist really haven't been doing much in the way of taking some of this B main control. There have been a number of rounds now where Verno has been able to just place this turret and it has just stayed up, which is going to be the case again here. And that's left them comfortable to work mid with the brunt of their forces. Gonna get that trade.
This is really characteristic of Oxygen. They've been doing this since the off season. Heavy mid presence. Make it really hard for the defenders to get any information, and often they choose to give it up. Or every now and then Marta might swing and find 3 very unlikely kills. And then you can transition wherever you like. And again, they've made the correct call. Over to A. This will be spotted out, of course, by that cam, but again, to what degree can the defenders actually get decent post-plant positions with Heaven so tightly held? Brock hopes to spam through, gets a lot of damage on Dapper, but here come the players crossing through the cover of smoke slowly. Vic now going to hand over towards Heaven, but there's a turret to spot him out as he tries to make his way in. Brock, though, prevails.
Coming back.
Able to find Dapper and give MXS that numbers advantage.
Good retake utility. They have the dog to re-clear all of Heaven. They're going to know that these players are stuck in sight. They're going to have a flash for it as well. Flya has this Astra ult. This should be a retake for Moist Shopify. They have a big advantage.
Trips there. Mitch can't push ahead of it. The flash is good, and Vic is able to take the frag. Verno spotted out now. Neural Theft doing a heck of a lot of heavy lifting, and it's Verno in a 1 versus 3. Tickle on the spike. Heaven's the first issue, but Odashima shuts it down. And bear in mind, that's a save round for MXS. They are working with very little. Couple rifles. And the retake util, like you mentioned, was good enough to give them all the info they needed.
Last round
Really well
in the
salvaged.
half.
It was that Cypher ultimate coming in at the very end as well. I thought Flya would have popped his, but it was just not necessary. The info that Vic gathered for the team there, crucial. Able to pick up a couple of those rifles as well. And it's in these situations where I'm impressed with the trading from this team. I mean, both teams have very strong fundamentals, but shown on display there for more Shopify for sure.
MXS finally break that little streak from Oxygen. Last round and a half coming up here. Cosmic Divide for both sides and Seekers available. Napper's able to cross the wall here with nothing fancy. Avoid that spam as Brock's been a little bit hard to shift from this spot, finding a freebie last round. Here's Cosmic Divide. Gonna really cut Heaven in half, but they're gonna hit that low ground straight towards the side, but Vic is there. He is staunch. What an anchor. The flash was good on Dapper. Beautiful guiding light there from Brock to set that up. And now Verno has to do it again. 1 versus 3. Still has the spike and a minute to work with. But that's about all of the good news I've got.
The anchoring from Vic, just fantastic. A player who, frankly, haven't been speaking about all too much, but is another guy that I know for a fact is on the radar of some of these partnership teams. Was at various points, and I remember speaking to Stellar when he was on 100 Thieves and how highly he regarded Vic as a prospect for the partnership league, showing why they're on that defense. A really nice job anchoring the site, finding that perfect swing timing
30 seconds
off
left.
of his own utility, popping the cage.
Vic's been a menace. Make no mistake. Last round, he couldn't anchor the side. He had to play from screens there with like just a Sheriff, I think. Combining really nicely with Brock. They are very hard to handle. There's the trip. Verno probably expecting that at this point. This will give Flyer enough time
10
here.
seconds left.
Push out of alley. Throw the util down and interrupt this entirely. Verno's going to be affected by that, and Flyer swoops in to clean it up. So that's your halftime score, folks. 7-5. MXS get off to a roaring start. Mana is all over it. 15 frags for him for the half, but Vic really shows his value later on. Once Oxygen get running, need to be slowed down a touch.
Something certainly of note as we head into the second half. Moist Shopify have won every pistol round so far, which is pretty wild. It's the reason Lotus was kept so close, despite how good Oxygen looked on the map. And right now, it's the reason they're in this 7-5 lead. We'll see if Oxygen can finally take one down here.
That is wild. And then that is, yeah, exactly. That's why I said that last map maybe got as close as it did, because eventually Oxygen stabilized, as they tend to, and they ran away with Lotus in the same fashion. Similar to what we saw on their attacking side on this very map too. Poison orb there. That's going to just eat up that heaven entrance. Because the Viper Wall is actually over on B. It's a little different one. It's going to cut that B heaven in half.
That cage is popped just to obstruct the view. Allow Moist Shopify to cross into a ramp. Oxygen, of course, weary about this now. The flash out was going to be fast pressure into the vent, but that nade cuts the team in half, so Redux is able to take a clean fight and try and slip his way out of there. Barely going to survive, but survive nonetheless.
Satchel denies the trade there. Vic opts not to pursue. So MXS come out of that. A player down. He'll be attended to, though. Healed back up. Redux can't boast the same. It is going to be coming in to a range of that in just a moment. 42 seconds to play. Spike, though, is in such an interesting spot. That Viper Wall kind of indicates you don't really want to pressure mid that heavily. But it's going to be an option here to MXS.
30 seconds
now
left.
short-handed. Scuba does well to win that one out. Now there's time. The rotate's getting pulled over, but it's a commitment from MXS with 20 seconds left in the round. Redux taken down. Vic's a robot. He's absolutely inhuman. What an important 3K, and there's more to come as Marta waits for Mitch to show the back of his head. Puts a board hole through it. Unreal.
Ooh. Lest for some magic, this is about to be the 4-0 pistol round sweep for Moist Shopify.
Anyway.
Vic has just been electric the last couple rounds.
You had better get a map for it at the very least, MXS. We need more of this. Vic low, just a body shot will do it. Verno able to triumph here. Brock, he actually crouches into it. Verno with 18 HP.
He heard the drop. He must have heard the drop.
No,
surely.
Looking towards the high, still he actually tries to put an alarm bot up there.
Grenade!
Something obscured that sound, so Marta gets a bit of a freebie.
Say something? Sorry. Ears
I'll
killing
have to
me.
double check in the replay, but I swear he dropped from height enough to hear that. Might have been, listen, could be my ear on the visual, but damn nice try.
This is
Vic, though. Oh my
the flash.
God, that is clean.
The flash equity was
That
absolutely
is so
mental
clean.
there from MXS. Brock again, really only showing up on the assist side of the kill feed in moments like that. But it once again sets Vic up. 10 assists for only 1 kill for Brock. Really in a strong supporting role on that B side.
And we're going to get that standard A ramp take. The satchel, the sky flash, Cypher cage with a cross. Dapper going to try to pick up that angle behind the wall, try and just get any amount of damage done. They've actually bought a couple sheriffs here on the defensive side, which you don't see as much now with the Outlaw in the game. Teams opting to full save, but, you know, the Outlaw on attack split would be very rare to get the whole choice if someone made it. So.
Otoshima, now on your screen, he's going to be working from behind that Viper's pit. It's a lot of damage. Hoping to receive Scuba. The timing, not good enough. They do get some side presence here, MXS. Still 4 players from Oxygen, though, now. 3 of them grouped here towards ramp, and they've recovered a Vandal. It's all starting to come together. Got some util to work with after the fact. First, it's going to be Mitch up. Nothing spotted here as most of MXS deep on the site. Guiding Light. Gotta get some information. Brock flashed up by that one. The Flyer's going to be there. Now we're even. A lot to work with, though. Verno at least able to make the trade happen, but the Bulldog is hungry. Rabbit as he is. And Scoob is pretty much out of options here. Hoping for some magic, but Flyer ain't about that life. It's going to be 9 here for MXS. Converting on yet another pistol round.
Scary for Shopify at the end. No map control, fighting off the Oxygen hordes, but luckily for them, the HP on those remaining Oxygen players was very weak, able to strike them down with just a couple bullets each. A nice recovery from them. And at this point, kind of funny to note, but the last time these teams played, Moist Shopify only got 8 rounds. The time previous to that on Split, they only got 4. So, listen, they're not off to a bad start and middle of this game. Then 9-5 lead.
It's a training arc if I've ever seen one. These two teams are really familiar with one another. Can't be overstated, and we've tried. Okay, towards mid now, MXS. Well, a couple players back. They're not looking to exploit. Again, Oxygen really prefer to have more presence there. It's in ropes. That's where the action's going to be. Dapper drops into the paint shell. Okay. A 1-for-1. Dapper not credited for that kill, but that's going to have to be enough. Does Oxygen still have a reason to linger at A? It's going to be a lot on Scuba's plate here in just a moment. Get a bonus here for MXS. Plenty of util to work with though. Flash Scuba turns it, looks down. Odoshima's there! What a shot!
I know exactly.
That ain't gonna be good now. Neural theft. All the information flowing to the neurons of MXS. And they'll get themselves the plant.
Rifle recovered as well. Only one flash on the side of Oxygen for this retake. Great opening from Redux though. The kind of shot you expect from him, no doubt.
Rogue wants to push the poison orb here. Risky business, Odoshima and Vic combine for the remainders. And MXS look hot on this attacking side. Oxygen again struggle to stabilize after a lost pistol. That was their buy. Getting crushed by the bonus. That is a bad, bad omen.
Heads up from Odorous to clear that corner. The sky ping, I wish I saw exactly where that flash went off. I'm going to assume it wrapped around pillar, which is why. But just heads up, knowing that a player could be in that corner despite the flash going off. I think he was the second to run through. That is the pivotal kill. And again, the Odorous impact being felt massively.
Man, it's
in addition to this roster has been so far so good. It's undeniable.
It's not even macro related. It's legitimately like on an individual level. Odorous is having an outsized impact for his team. Not just this map, but also Lotus prior. Even if that didn't go the way MXS would have liked. So here now, Oxygen, a broken buy to say the least. Bucky to hand for Dapper. Well, again, just try and be that nuisance in mid. As 3 players for Oxygen here, hoping to lure MXS in.
Boombot and Flash up mid. Timing. A little bit off, but that's all good. Oh my god, Verno takes that peek in B main where Oxygen pressing up for some control, gonna get the man advantage. How are Moy Shopify gonna react to this? It looks like they want to go into the A split because they left their Cypher working there, but Dapper with the Bucky, 1 and massive damage as well. Healed up luckily.
It's good for 1. And that's all he needs there. It's definitely given MXS pause for thought with 30 seconds left in the round. And look at this, Oxygen not fully rotating out. They have opted to give up B. I have to say, Vic's done a damn good job of selling this, and he's entrenched. He gets himself into screens. He's about to get busy. Oh, fine, Scuba doesn't need a whole lot to tip him off to that one. Somehow finds the kill, but is traded.
10 seconds
MXS
left.
with 2 players left to work with now will eventually, finally, get a spike down.
Crucially, if Bruno lives, he has his ultimate. If Brock can find this kill, that would have surely locked the round up, but
this is important.
Fly as well forward. It's all about this lockdown.
A wind up there for the turret, giving Flyer enough time to reposition. Here's the lockdown though. 10 seconds to play with Brock and Flyer now need to double up. Flyer forced well back by that turret though. Can't be in a very aggressive spot. Even checking more defense, it's all going to be up to Brock in that case. And now with the lockdown ticking, Flyer can go for it. Not long left. A shoulder peek here to try and interrupt Redux now. I think he's just going to stick that right on down, and Verno will do his job. Held the line, and finally, Oxygen get a round back.
It starts with Verno's headshot in B main as well, but note the defensive setup of Oxygen. I love how they push to B main with multiple players, and in the case that they do run into someone there that gives Moy Shopify the info, oh, they're stacked up, they're pushing out, that's going to mean that they're going to go to A, which they did. And who do they walk into? Dapper chilling with a shotgun close up when they're trying to get back into that position. It's just it's a nice setup from them that allows them to get those kills. But also crucially, I mean, none of that works if Verno doesn't just rip someone's head off right away with the Sheriff. So also individually, what do you know? Verno and Redux, they're cracked as hell. What a shocking reveal.
That lockdown's so big, Flyer couldn't really help Brock at all there. Very fast A hit. And the ground was fertile for just this kind of play with Oxygen really just spreading into heaven. Still, there's going to be some action on ramps. Vic's always good for one at the least, and Redux expends the showstopper for more, but goes down to 2. Brock turns the flash bomb buddy in and still finds the kill after the fact. Your boy's back. That's right. It's got 8 sides. It's the shape. You know what it is. Scuba, last standing in that 1 versus 4. And MXS quickly keep Oxygen quiet. This is getting out of hand.
How the hell does he get 3 when he's getting boom-botted, flashed? What was going on? Every utility piece was being sent
so
out.
Dependable.
Still able to get 3. That was crazy. Also, crucial play late in the game to get them to 11 for Brock, who frankly has just had an absolutely dead, quiet crickets map up until this point, if we're keeping it real. I mean, there was a while where he was just sitting on a goose egg, but listen, it doesn't matter when your team is winning, and when you're called upon to deliver, you exceed what the requested delivery from your side. That getting 3 there is so mental.
And we've seen Brock obviously have to be that role player for this entire series so far. I think Lotus defense sat there with a Judge or a Phantom just waiting for a push on towards B. Other maps, he gets to showcase what he's made of a little bit more, maybe when he's able to place over. Here, though, delivering in a crucial moment despite basically the kitchen sink being yeeted at him. And yeah, it's about time for Oxygen here to slow things down once more. Interesting how they sort of really don't have anyone embedded on the site there, right? They just want to play from heaven. Hope to, use their util in the post plant. Kind of exactly what MXS wanted with a fast A hit, double satchel in, smoke cover. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, the game has certainly become very retake focused. We're going to have more Shopify here going for that fast B control, throwing down the Viper's Orb, getting the space, maybe pick that back up later. We'll see what Oxygen are going to do here, though. That's the real story of this round, I suppose, post timeout, how they're going to make an adjustment.
Astra of Scuba never really getting aggressive on this defense side. Never really fighting for B-man control. Might work against them now as Marta is in. Trying to stay clear of the snake bite. Oh, that's what you're going to wish you had back, my friend. Marta, uncharacteristically, no connection there on the snow. Showstopper. And MXS pre-plant down to 2. It's up to Redux to clean up and finally come alive. Dapper will swing it with him. Give the kill over to the young fragger. It's Redux for 3 and Oxygen. Well-timed timeout to get them back in the game.
Really nice flood from them. That was just swinging together, fighting together. Those mollies down from Dapper, getting that vulnerability online. Really nice from them. That just comes down to some honest, fundamental team play.
That's beautiful stuff. Lightning quick as well for MXS as they made their way in. Realizing, of course, that we wouldn't see Scuba fight for that B-main control. That's just not what he set up to do. Again, buying enough time for the reinforcements of Oxygen to arrive. Now towards mid we go. Neural theft is a factor in this round, Vic, with that available. Dapper. Too canny to fully swing that. Knows what's awaiting him down at the bottom of mid as MXS slowly try and get up this part of the map.
Wow, my eyes are down.
Oxygen winning this round would be very influential on the economy. If you note that Moist Shopify have 3 players with an effective 0, this could begin the comeback if there were to be one.
Timing here for Redux. Everything playing off Dapper. There comes the orb. Of course, the vulnerable going to help a heck of a lot. And they crunch MXS as they were adamant about continuing to scale their presence up in mid. Despite it being given away very early, care of the shoulder peaks of Dapper. Now again, a player disadvantage to fight from. Dapper still frustratingly shoulder peeking every angle, but there's an opening. There's an opening! Mitch and Verno get plucked out of the mix in that A side. Is open for MXS to get in.
Scuba is going to have the ult for the retake, but the crucial player here is absolutely Odorous, who's really been the man of the hour for Moist, but he's going to be too late because they're going to hit the gas right now to take out this spike planter. Dapper's going to be able to get on this, and now Odorous is going to have to rush back. They're at least going to get this to happen. Oh. The molly doesn't even hit connect. Just going to stick it. That is tough.
Well, while we were due for a mid to late half comeback from Oxygen, this one has been absolutely terrifying, though, for an MXS fan. These last couple of rounds, extremely impactful. Even though MXS found a way through the trades, were very, very good on the Oxygen side. Redux already starting to get involved in the game, and Verno, no surprises from either of them. No one on Oxygen really having a great first half. Everybody pretty quiet. This time, though, a very different story.
Yeah, that plant, at the very least, though, is going to allow Moist Shopify to have a reasonable buy here while waiting to get a full buy on the next round. So still very winnable. They have the 2 Stingers, Sheriff, but they have 2 Vandals as well. Not the worst arsenal you could see.
Players testing this in mid, but 3 players to ramp. Anything but a one and done for Mitch. He's got backup. Seekers also confirms extra presence around that corner. The flash And still disciplined enough not to try and chase that kill on Vic as the counter flash came in from Brock. Here's the side hit though. MXS do have the ability to scale up, and they have sent Vic on quite the mission. Already into screens, but Redux and Scuba are wise to this. They know they've given a lot of space on that part of the map. Don't even need to trade it. Redux is there. Really coming alive now, as we've not even had a spike plant yet.
Scout destroyed.
And that Trailblazer gets all the info they need. That little one and done spot there for Brock is completely unraveled. He has to pull out towards A main now. 4 in heaven. And a transition surely to screens for much of this Oxygen cohort. Here's the Astra Util. Smoking off A main. It's going to get them in here. Oh, Brock took a hit there. Dapper has that control of heaven. It's all coming together now for the defenders. The time is of the essence, and Brock just walks straight into the crosshair of Redux. Flyer is able to find something with a stinger, but it's 3 versus 1, and he is overwhelmed. All up to Odashima. And the clock doesn't run back that far, my friend. Oxygen get a 3rd in a row. Now they're starting to take control.
Vic saw an opening and took it, and I respect that. He was the linchpin of that round's success. That was a total ad-lib A-take. He just realized, oh, hold up, I can go through the entire site for free right now and get into screens. You saw the spike was all the way still back, damn near in the attacker's spawn. So it ended up allowing ample time for Oxygen to fully set up for that retake with maxed out clock on the spike getting planted for them to be able to actually execute the retake. Still though, it was heads up from Vic. If he had gotten that kill early on in screens when he peaked, then all of a sudden things could have spiraled out of control. But at the end of the day, it was not the best buy for Moist Shopify.
Yeah.
And a respectable effort. Could certainly see what they were trying to do.
And again, a very quick rotate from Scuba and Verno there. I don't know if, Vic might have been able to get a lot more done, or at least post himself up on an angle outside of screens. Were they a little slower? It's a very responsive play here from Oxygen. So now MXS have to figure it out. Okay. They had a fast hit towards B, but got stalled out by that Astra Util, eventually got crunched. It didn't take mid control there. They try and take mid control. They force the issue. They lose a round, and then it gets Vipers pitted the next round. Who's that? Viper wall once more. Might be like a B biased, a little bit of a default.
Moist have their Astra ult online. So you could certainly see a big execute with that in tandem with the Seekers going off into this round. No real early pressure from Oxygen. They're just jiggling on A. Mitch just seeing if anyone is pushing up there. They've totally given up mid right now. And Moist are going to find that out with the dog, and if they follow up, take the space after it.
This is something we've more commonly seen from MXS on defense. Most of the time, at least Dapper is shoulder peeking this mid. Okay, they get a bit of enough at least to give them reason to move up further. That's that defensive poison orb now thrown up. It's going to slow them. But elsewhere on the extremities, the defenders aren't getting a ton of info. You see, just tentatively, Mitch is trying to see what's happening towards A main. Scuba really just holding here, expecting the attackers to be funneled here into ropes. He's going to be right. About to see some action.
Got your trail.
Flyer makes the right step. He gets away. Seek is now going to confirm that Scuba is lying in wait at the top of ropes. 3 Seekers head that way. The best plants to pop, though, the best place to pop those, rather, to get the information you need. And here's that great divide.
30 seconds left.
Got to cut off the back of the B site now. As eventually MXS are getting there, but it's not a fast hit.
Not by any means. 20 seconds on the clock. Brock is going to get a crucial kill, though, shutting down all of that KJ utility. Dapper could go mental in the back site, though, to win this out.
Marta down. Showstopper gets some value. Douglas Appa refuses to be shifted. Vic's going to have to give him something here. The spike does go down, but Dapper is entrenched. But he's on his own. 1 versus 2. Mitch just could not get there in time. With the money he has, he's bound to go for it. 2 flashes still take so much free damage as Brock makes it for 3, and MXS take us to map point.
Well executed round from Moist Shopify. Working up mid, they get the info. Okay, it's pretty open. They pressure a little bit towards A, leaving 1 player in B main with their intention to always be, all right, let's draw a little pressure. Let's pressure A, draw the rotators a little bit. And then they go for that Astra wall that cuts off the B spawn angle and the B heaven stairs angle. So they're able to just rotate back, not have to worry about all that. It allows them to get there with some pace. And then that first shot from Brock to take Verno out of the site, shut down the KJ utility is huge. So, top to bottom, good round from Shopify. Great game plan.
This time Oxygen say, don't feel great about sitting A heaven watching ropes and allowing MXS to make their way up mid. That'll be the Redux Dapper duo holding it down for the time being. And Vic has been so slow. Glacial here, trying to make sure he doesn't give any info to the ramp player, keeping that cam up. We actually see him link up with Brock over there, so he might be able to set something in motion in the mid to late round. There's a lot of defensive util on that side, though.
Looks like they want to dog here, cage the cross, get some of this space late into the round to create some pressure. Get Vic entrenched. Gonna get that heal onto him as well.
It's all about the anchors.
Dog re-clear, and you can see his spawn. That's drawn Dapper's attention. He worked over towards that A site with 40 seconds on the clock now. And this is gonna have to be where they're gonna end this exec. A lot of it gonna come down to Mata, who's gonna be popping up through the vents.
2 flashes from Mitch for Verno to play off here. It's gonna be all about the anchors on this A site. Eventually, that's where the Crow's gonna come home to roost. Nanoswarm slows things down. Mata also gives his position away in heaven. Here comes a satchel over to the point with the Cosmic Divide in play. Mata sees very little. Swings it. There's a player on the other side. Mata's able to win it out, but it's going to be Redux and Verno finding theirs. So in the post plan, it's going to be a 3 versus 3. Scuba a little slower to the rescue. But Dapper has already got himself outside of screens. Buddy. Cosmic Divide is about to come down. Keep that in mind. Paint shells deployed, and Dapper has to split away from Redux for now. Mata takes a bit of damage, takes damage from his own paint shells to come off a weird timing, but again, fails to hit the showstopper. Brock is here, but there's a double face from Scuba and Redux about to happen, and it's a trade. 1 versus 1, and Redux for 3. What a round to win out. What a round to keep Oxygen in this game.
Redux is just so reliable in these situations where you're in the scrappy post plant. He's just going to step up. These young players on the Oxygen side topping the scoreboard, and for damn good reason. They are 2 of the stars of NA Challengers, without a doubt. Nobody would dispute that. Highly desired players in the partnership league when they're actually eligible to play, excuse me. So much attention been on them in the offseason. We've watched these 2 destroy Challengers teams, partnerships teams alike. They are just an incredible duo.
I love that from Mata, though. Again, stepping over his own paint shells, going to 3 just to have a weird timing. See that more and more often, right? Especially also over the KJ util at times. So no A wall here for MXS. Again, it's that one over towards B.
Here.
I can set up a poison orb to heaven, though.
Yeah, just a little bit of mid pressure can work all the way back here. They've been using that cage to take ramp control quite often. They pop it again, but this time it's going to be the full execute coming in straight off the back of it, not just that cypher planning space.
Mitch forced off the angle there at Rafters. Snakebites hitting both defensive plays. Beautiful setups here for Odoshima. And MXS capitalize on that, but Dapper comes in, 2 players vulnerable. That's 2 judge kills to his name. No spike down yet. Dapper falls.
Oh no!
And it's just Scuba.
You are divided.
Cosmic Divide now. For the attackers, Scuba already ahead of it, though. There's just so much to work through. A tripwire in his way.
Obscuring vision.
Throw down some smokes and try and make something happen here.
Concealment.
Tripwire is the first order of business. Scuba gets through. Through screens.
I need us pulling them in.
Is he running out of time, though? Really needs to make the play. Throws a pull out there towards A main and receives Mata, but now he's given up his position towards side player behind him. They're behind that screen. Scuba trying to avoid it, but I don't know if they've not read that at all. Flyer closes the map out here, and MXS take a very competitive win on Split.
That was just, first of all, fantastic game from Mata. He was a highlighted player when we were discussing the game on the desk before we got into it, that he was the guy who needed to step up. He had a very poor performance on Lotus, partially due to him, partially due to some sloppiness from the team, but he totally turned it around. Star performance on Split, tons of crucial, multi-kills that were just straight up winning rounds. So first to note, that is fantastic. Also, the fact that that Moy Shopify are now 4-0 on pistol rounds. It's tough to win maps, let alone a series, when you never win pistol rounds. So listen, if you're an Oxygen enjoyer, you're going to be looking out for, rounds 1 and 13 as we go on to the final map here for sure. But map 1, to me, more than anything, came down to the macro game, in which Oxygen were simply better on Lotus. On this map, that was the case for Moist Shopify. They were playing a better macro game.
Absolutely. Again, having Marta come online, I think, is a huge boon to them, but we'd be remiss if we didn't sort of talk about the overarching strategy that they're able to employ, right? It's slow play for MXS. Like, it really does take them a while to commit to these sites, but so often making some great decisions here and having a great sort of first half really sets them up for that. Pistols, yeah, they're great to have. But I just want to get to 12 rounds before Oxygen get to start to make that run at all. Great showing here from MXS to even up the series. It's 1 apiece here, and what is basically going to be our Challengers El Clasico for the rest of the season, I think. And we'll have, of course, our decider map buying on the other side of the break, so don't go anywhere. This is your first game of Challengers Week 1. MXS and Oxygen 1 apiece.
Face.